All right, today we are going to talk about expressions and equations. And our I can statement is I can write an expression and equation from keywords. Make sure that you have the sound on this because you need to be able to hear what I'm saying. It's like I'm teaching at this moment in time. So make sure that you have the sound on. Write this statement down. We need to talk about what expressions and equations are. We also will be talking about what key words are going to help us to understand those expressions or equations. So I have a few examples here. I'm going to start right here, right under your I can statement. You should write the word expression. An expression is a word that we will be dealing with for the rest of our lives. Lives? There we go. An expression, I'm sure that you have heard it in math before, but an expression on our face is like if we're smiling, if we're growling, if we're scowling, if we're grumpy, any of those things, it'll show an expression on our face. But in math, an expression is a number sentence. A number sentence consists of at least two numbers and some sort of math in between these two numbers. So 2 plus 3 is an expression. You could also find some variables in these expressions, and we've been talking about variables in science. Variables in science are things that we change. Variables in math are letters that we put in to represent any number. That number could change, kind of like when we're talking about science, where we could put in a 4 for this, we could put in a 7 for this. In science, we could put in cornstarch, we could put in baking soda, we could water our plants with juice. All of those things are going to be changes or variables in a math problem or in science. So I have some other expressions written here, number sentences without an equal sign. Here's an x plus 2. Here's a 3 minus s. Here is a 2j plus 3. This is one of the more complicated ones. So we're going to go down here to what an equation is. Hopefully you've been writing these notes down. Pause it if you need to catch up, if I'm going too fast. You should be writing these notes down. An equation is only just a little different than an expression. Up here we had 2 plus 3, but look, in an equation, we've added an equal sign, and we've given something on the other side of the equal sign. An equal sign is like a balance beam. Everything that's on one side has to be the same thing as what's on the other side. That's what equal means. So in these expressions up here, we can go ahead and add an equal sign and change them to an equation. Now we have x plus 2 equals 7. We have 3 minus s equals 2. And here we have 2j plus 3 equals 7. Notice that they all had a variable in there, a letter that stands for another number that we don't know at that time. If we just have an expression, we can solve it however we want. But when we put an equal sign there, the two sides have to balance each other out. I think it's important at this time to talk about how multiplication and division can be shown. Now, if I were to do addition, my sign for addition is going to be the plus sign, and my sign for subtraction is going to be the subtraction sign. But when it comes to multiplication and division, we have more than one sign to show multiplication or division. So we'll start here. We know the x means multiplication, but we also we could just put a dot there, and it would mean multiplication. So I could have 2 times 3, and it would look like this. I could also just put a number next to a letter. In between there's going to be a secret math code that we know. We're going to go ahead and multiply these two numbers together. The same thing here, if the 4 is sitting right next to some parentheses, it means that whatever is in these parentheses, we're going to multiply it by 4. So in this case, we would do 3 plus 6 is 9. 9 times 4 equals 36. The same is true of division. We just got finished with all of our fractions, and we know that a fraction is a division problem. where the 2 falls into the house and the 3 is on the outside. So we would say 2 divided by 3. We also have this regular division sign. We have a slash that can be a division sign. We also have the division problem where the number is already in the house. These are just different ways that we represent multiplication and division in our math. We might do this to kind of shorten our time frame or to get our things written down quicker. This is a screen you're going to want to stop on. I want you to stop, make sure that you have all of this written down, and then come back so that we can talk through it. Pause your video, come back once you have this all written down. Yes, it should say keywords at the top. Yes, there should be 4 columns that it's divided into, and I want the symbols up at the top. You might even add the extra symbols that multiplication can show up as or division can show up as. Hopefully by now you have stopped the video and we could talk through these keywords. When we're talking about keywords, our mind should automatically, when we see that keyword, it should automatically say, ooh, that's a math word. I'm going to be adding, or I'm going to be subtracting, or dividing, or multiplying. Notice that I have double in both of these categories, because if I said, ooh, I'm going to double 2, means I'm going to add another 2, but it could also be 2 times 2. But the other words we have here, we have added, together, plus, increased, more, less, decrease, take away, minus, subtract, double, ooh, triple means that we would times by 3, the product, or of course times. And over here for division, we have quotient, divided, and to put things into equal groups. So let's use these words to come up with some expressions. Here it has these words written out. We have if I was reading a math thing and it said subtract a number from 10. Notice there are not 2 numbers in this problem, but it says a number. This is where our variables will come in. This is where we're going to add those two to the mix. So we'll put any letter to represent a number. We don't know what the number is, so I'm just going to put a letter there. I chose S. Does it have to be S? No, it could be Q or T or R or Z or whatever your favorite letter is. A lot of times you know that I would use J because of Jamie, or I would use L for Leesenby, but we're going to do an S for this one. Just the first letter I thought of. In our question here, it says we're going to subtract a number from 10. So that means that number is going to be taken away from 10. And so our expression would look like this. So we started with 10, and we're going to subtract some number. That's all we have to do for this. The next one says 6 divided by, there's my key word, a number. All right, so I'm going to do 6, and I'm going to have 6 divided by any number. Oh, there's an X. The third one says the product, oh, that's a math word, that's a key word we saw, of 9 and a number. So I know product means multiply. I'm going to say 9 times any number. I think I'll do a T this time. Notice this looks like a letter and this looks like a letter. So that's a lot of times why mathematicians change it so that it's multiplying is like a dot. And the last one here, a number added to 19. So I'm going to come up with a number. I'm going to use L plus 19.